Hey, how's it going everyone? This is my gaming connoisseur, and welcome back to another game guide video for Mortal Online 2. So, when I logged in, I just there was this big white bear standing in front of me, and his name is Bubbles. So I just thought, I'll just include this bear in my video. Oh, and there's the owner, Legolas and Whizbiz. I don't know who owns this bear. Alright, I'll just tell them. Yep. And okay, so in this video, I just want to, before I do that, see if they want to say anything, say hi or whatever. Alright, I'll just wave them goodbye. Okay, and that's Odin Seed, my heroes. Yeah, Odin Seed is, I consider Odin Seed to be my heroes. And so anyway, in this video I just want to talk about I guess you could say a way to reduce the pain of loss when you do die in let's say when you're going in a dungeon. Because recently I went hunting the scoundrels in the in Fabenham sewers, and so I was carrying this blade, this Cuprum. I guess I'll just show it to you. So I was carrying this blade, and so it's quite a beefy blade, and I did make it out of. Let me just bring up my paper doll. So I did make the hilt out of steel and the head out of Cuprum. And so I made it out of steel for the hilt so that it would have a greater durability. As you can see, it's 97.53. And so that, I made it out of that material so that it doesn't have to, so I don't have to keep constantly replace it as often, because weapons and gear, all gear in this game will degrade over time, with the exception of undroppables like the cape, which is doesn't have any durability. So I decided to think up a way to reduce the pain of loss, because when I got killed in the Fabenham sewers, I lost this blade, which is, for me, is quite expensive, because it is made out of steel and Cuprum, all of which I gathered and processed and extracted myself. So this is a short blade, a heavy short blade with a heavy hilt, made of emalge and full grain leather. So let me just put that on, and I'll put this on the. Okay, so this is a very light blade, but if you look at the stats, the slashing and piercing damage is not too bad. I did experiment quite a bit. I used other heads on this short blade, on this single one-handed blade, and so this is the best result when you put a heavy short blade on a heavy hilt, using emalge and full grain leather as the hilt, and also emalge for the head, so that you can see the slashing and piercing damage values. It's actually not too bad. I mean, if you compare it to this one, it's actually not too bad. So even though it's obviously not as powerful, but the purpose of me using this blade is twofold. One, it's not just for me to have a weapon and setup, which is not going to be too much of a heavy loss if I were to get killed and ganked out there in the lawless areas. And two, and this is probably another big reason why I would have this Sorry. Yeah, let me just bring that out. So another big reason for me to have this blade is that this blade is effectively a replacement for the steel short sword that you start off with and you never drop when you die. So let's say if I were to carry both of these blades, the two-handed sword and this blade into lawless areas, and let's say this blade were to break, I can just change to this one. Now, some might argue that, well, instead of having this weak weapon, why don't you just have two? Well, the thing is, if I were to have two of these, the same blade, it would cost me twice as much materials to make, and the loss would be twice as great. So for me, that's not really something that I want. Now, of course, everyone has their own preferences. So some people would just go with two of these, the same blade, so that when one breaks, they can just change to the next one. So that's a perfectly valid strategy as well. But for me, I want to have this one, because then, and not only that, but it is also a good close quarter combat weapon. Because this one, actually, if I were to go right up close to a scoundrel, it is actually going to bounce off. It is actually going to cause my swing animation to not finish. So just like the spear video that I made several months back, where I showed people how that if I were to back myself to a wall, then I couldn't even complete the swing animation when using a spear or a blade. My arm would just bang against the wall and it would just not complete the swing animation. So this for me is also a good short range weapon. So not only that, but it is also a very good replacement for this, because this is effectively something that I can make so easily just out of Emouge. And Emouge you can get just by butchering the Walking Dead carcass. You get quite a bit of Emouge. And full grain leather, you just go outside the town and just hunt one or two pigs and you get a whole bunch of full grain leather. So these are made out of materials that are easily obtainable, and so it's a very good replacement, because if you look at the damage values, look at the slashing and piercing, don't look at the blunt, because blunt, you're not going to use a sword to bash your opponent. But if you were to look at this, this is so easy to make, but you look at the damage values, it's easily much better. So compared to the slashing 8.00 and compare that 14.06, it's much better, a much better weapon compared to your steel short sword. If I have this, I would not even use this. I would not even use my steel short sword blade, the one that you start off with. I would just use this, because this is just a much better weapon compared to anything that this can give you. So this is my my new setup. So instead of carrying this big expensive blade in terms of the material cost and the effort it takes to make it, I'm just going to carry this one. And yes, I hope that this helps you. And so if you could please like this video and also comment and subscribe, and also share this video if you are on any social media platforms. So thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my future videos. This is Fine Gaming Connoisseur. Take care and have a good day.